Okay friends, and in this video I'm going to show you how I cut these gorgeous teardrop shapes for my Golden Peacock Mosaic background. What I'm using are old plates. These ones are by Churchill or Myatt, depending on which company, and it's called Finlandia. Now, the reason why I've used this particular plate is because I've got a stack of them, as well as the fact there's quite a lot of white in the background, and it's quite a dark area in the staircase. I'm also going to be using some delightful blue Nordic as well, which is like that kind of oniony shape that it's very famous for, which is quite delightful. I've got some very old ones, but these ones are reject and old as well. So before you freak out that I'm using gorgeous antique, would cost a lot of money if I sold them, it ain't so. There's tons of these around in Britain. I know some of you guys in Australia and America struggle to find things like this, but you can find them on eBay. You never know, you might find yourself a bargain. And thrift shops, op shops as they're called in Australia, car boot sales, all sorts of places would have this kind of blue and white crockery. There seems to be abundance of blue and white. So, without further ado, here we go. So, with these plates, what I tend to do is cut up a shape and then use it as my template. So what I do is I draw around the shape, and I don't just do one, I actually go right round it. I use a very thin Edding 55, very thin nibbed pen, so that you can get an accurate drawing done in the area that you want. Okay, so that's the first stage I would draw around, and here's one I've done earlier. So that's the drawing all the way around. Clearly, because it's a hand drawn and hand cut shape, it won't fit exactly identically. So you can see here, there's a gap, but that's all right, because these gaps are also essential, because when it comes to infilling on the wall, you might want a little piece like that. So, you know, that would show, well, that would cut up in a particular space. So infilling is important. So what I used to do was score out the shapes with my Toyo glass cutter, glass scorer. But sometimes these plates don't go to how you want them to cut. Now, every plate is different, ladies and gentlemen. Some are thicker than others, some are porcelain and fine bone china, and they would cut in a different way. So it's always a case of experimenting. So even when I do my first cut, I don't necessarily know where it's going to go. It might go through a drawing, you know, but because I've only drawn these, they can be wiped off and redrawn. So there's a lot of wriggle room and flexibility in my work, which kind of, you know, when you see the finished products, they look a bit, you know, as I'm meant to be, and it's drawn out and cut up exactly perfectly. But there's a lot of wriggle room. So with my Montolit 55, I'll obviously share the link below. You know, I only use a handful of tools, you know, like 3 or 4 tools anyway. So what I like about these is that it has a beautiful, flexible, spring-like action. So if you've got arthritis, for example, it's easier to cut. It's better than the Lepinets that I've got that don't have a mechanism in the centre. They're a very nice way of biting, and this is titanium, so these are really strong as well. Okay, so I'll definitely put a link in below, and probably a film link by Montolit on how they use these. The advantage of using these is spectacular and has changed my life as a mosaic artist. There you go. So what I do is I would place the nipper in deeply into the plate and give it a squeeze. Now, I like this when films, you know, when I make a film, it works out perfectly. How lucky am I? So then I just go about cutting each section approximately. Okay, so I'll just carry on with this and you can just watch it. So I'm going roughly in the direction of the drawing line. Okay, there you go. And then I'll cut along there. Now you could trim and cut all the way through with this Montolit tool. There would be nothing wrong in doing that. And some people that are used to using a wheel nipper would be able to do that. But for me, I'm still in love with my bog standard style side biter. Okay, and what I use is the back. See, the curved side I call the front, and that's the top, and this is what I call the back. And I always use the back, so I'm kind of going backwards when I'm working. So let's see if I can get this for you in focus. So can you see, I'm just literally using the corner edge of that side biter. Let's see if I can focus that. So it's right at the top bit there, that corner edge. And I'm not touching, the tile is not touching the front of the side biter. It's only using that slight angle, the corner. Okay, and because it's a carbide tipped tool, it's got a strong bite to it, hence called a side biter. And by doing this, you're not wasting a lot of the plate, a lot of the crockery, which is a good thing because we don't like waste. So that's the basic shape, and what I do is just use the top of the side biter to just graze that glaze, as I say in my workshops. In fact, it doesn't need a lot of grazing. So that's the shape. And I'll be going about cutting up all of these shapes because there's a lot of shapes to cut for the workshop. Now, I just wanted to show you that back in the day, I used to use the side biters only to cut my crockery. Now, just to say that in terms of cutting with this, it's very difficult to cut. It's a very strong piece of crockery and you'd have to really squeeze it to cut it. Really squeeze it. But with these Montolits, all you'd have to do is squeeze it and it's quicker and it's easier. and you're not straining your hands. And us mosaic artists do tend to have a lot of RSI to our name, so a lot of repetitive strain injury because there's a lot of cutting going on and a lot of blisters, and that's why I wear my glass gloves, you see. And I'll put them on the old list below, the description box below. So this is what I'm going to be getting on with for the rest of the day on this gorgeous sunny day in June. Okay, speak to you soon. Bye. I thought I'd show you what I've done so far with the staircase project. So here's my little Golden Peacock, which, as you know, I installed last week. And here are the shapes that I've glued on today. So I've had 3 layers upwards and then a couple of layers downwards, and I might keep that downward shape, that direction, for the rest of it. The brilliant thing is that you can choose and decide what you need to do as you're working. So instead of using fiberglass mesh on this wall, I thought I'd install in situ, which is a bit of a small angle because it's this area is only about what 80 centimeters wide, 85 centimeters wide, so not even a meter. So yeah, good job I do yoga. So the plan is I'm going to work on this area right up to the top, and I've given myself some guidelines so I know which direction it should roughly and approximately go. And I've even said to myself that maybe there's a little bit of a teardrop shape that goes into that corner, clearly. And then the plan is to continue onto the outside of the peacock. But I've also got a thought that maybe I'll add some more nazarize with this lovely shell shape, which is a ready-made shape that I got at online tile shop on eBay. So, and it's white and it's good and it's delightful because it would help me to decide whether I'm going to add some more and maybe have some gold plumes. But yeah, it's work in progress. So that's what I like about doing mosaics like this. And just to show you once again what glue I'm using, it's my Rewmar Flexy Fix. So it's all ready to go. And I've got some lovely faceted glass, which I'm going to add in between some of the gaps. And as you know, this is the wall mosaic. And here's the ceiling mosaic. And all of this I've been creating during lockdown. So this ceiling I started on the 31st of March, 1st of April, officially 1st of April. I installed it on the 4th and 5th of May. And then around the 1st of June, I started working on the wall. But this, the main area, I worked on mesh and then cut it up into pieces. But you can see those videos on this YouTube channel. So I'm in my garden, and this is my garden. Just give you a little bit of panoramicness. Can you hear that blackbird? How gorgeous. That's my apron being washed and drying. So I thought I'd give you a little demonstration on what I'm cutting. These little delightfulness. Thought I'd give you a little sneak peek on what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. So let's just pan back a little bit. If I can get hold of this